Hey everyone, welcome back. We're going to be taking a deep dive today into how the Boston Bruins have been doing lately.
Yeah, looking at their recent performance.
You know, it's been a bit of a roller coaster.
It has.
They had that tough 6-game losing streak,
Yeah.
but then they managed to pull out that pretty exciting win in their last game.
Big win.
So we're here to kind of figure out, is this the start of a turnaround or what's going on with all the trade rumors?
Right. What should fans be looking out for?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What should you be watching for in these next few weeks?
Well, that recent win against Florida,
Oh, yeah.
that was a thriller.
It was a thriller, and they really needed that one,
They did.
especially after all those tough losses.
Uh-huh.
But I think before we get too optimistic,
Yeah.
let's break down what happened.
Yeah. Let's rewind a little bit. Go
Okay.
back to January 9th.
All right.
The Bruins, they took a pretty tough loss against Tampa Bay,
Yeah.
4-1.
Yeah.
A tough one, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
But then 2 days later, they face off against the Florida Panthers.
Okay.
And that's where things got interesting.
Interesting is an understatement.
Yeah.
David Pastrnak with 2 goals,
Yeah.
including the game winner,
I mean, come on.
with only 2 seconds left in overtime.
2 seconds left.
Can you even imagine?
Talk about a nail biter.
I bet you were on the edge of your seat for that one.
Oh, absolutely. It was amazing.
It was wild.
It was a remarkable display of skill
Yeah,
and composure.
for sure.
And that celebration,
Wow.
pure elation.
Yeah.
You could feel the entire team's energy shift
Oh, absolutely.
from that one goal.
Totally. And let's not forget about the contributions from Morgan Geekie
Of course.
and Oliver Wahlstrom.
Yeah.
They also found the back of the net.
Uh-huh.
And we got to talk about Jeremy Swayman.
Oh, yeah.
A rock in that net.
He was a waltz-up.
39 saves.
Yeah, I mean, his performance was crucial.
Absolutely.
Especially considering how much the Bruins were struggling offensively leading up to this game.
Right. They were only scoring 1 or fewer goals in 4 out of those 6 losses. It felt like they were just hitting a wall
It did.
every time they entered the offensive zone.
Yeah.
What do you think was at the root of all that?
Well, I think they were relying a little too heavily on individual efforts,
Oh.
and they just weren't playing very structured in the offensive zone.
Okay.
They weren't generating those eye danger chances that they needed.
So a lack of teamwork, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. And then on top of that, they had that power play drought.
Oh, don't even get me started.
8 games
8 games.
without a power play goal.
That's an eternity in hockey.
It felt like it.
Yeah. It must have felt like they were cursed or something.
Oh, for sure.
But thankfully, Geekie's goal against Florida broke that drought.
Huge.
Yeah.
That goal was huge. Not just because, they got the goal, but I think it was really a sign that maybe their power play is starting to click again.
Fingers crossed.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hope so.
They need that if they want to be competitive.
Yeah, they need that to be a weapon.
For sure.
Okay, so we've got this exciting win under their belt.
Right.
But there are still some of those offensive concerns lingering.
Yeah.
And now, to add another layer of complexity, we've got all these trade rumors swirling around.
Always fun.
Yeah, with the trade deadline approaching.
Yeah.
It seems like Bruins GM Don Sweeney is open to making some moves.
Oh, yeah, he's got to be.
He has to, right?
I mean, they're barely holding on to a playoff spot right now.
Yeah,
And the East is so tight this year.
that's a tight race.
They can't just sit around and wait.
Right, they can't afford to stay put.
Exactly.
2 names that I keep hearing in all these trade discussions are Trent Frederick
Okay.
and Justin Brazeau.
Mm.
What's the scoop on those guys?
Well, Frederick, his contract's up at the end of the season.
Oh, okay. So he's a
pending unrestricted free agent.
so that's what that means.
Yeah.
Always hear that, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
So he could just walk away.
Oh, wow.
For nothing.
For free.
Yeah.
So that makes him a pretty prime trade target, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
For teams that are
Especially for teams that...
looking to add some depth.
Exactly. They want to add some depth for a playoff run.
Yeah.
But they don't want to commit long term.
Right.
So,
Okay, makes sense why his name is being thrown around.
yeah.
And what about Brazeau?
Well, Brazeau, he's quietly having a really solid season.
Yeah.
10 goals, 8 assists.
All right.
But I think what makes him so attractive is his contract.
Oh,
He's got a really affordable contract.
Right.
So he could be a valuable addition to a lot of teams
yeah.
without, breaking the bank,
Right.
especially for teams that are right up against the cap rate.
Cap space is like gold these days
It is.
in the NHL.
You can't buy that.
So Sweeney's got some tough choices to make.
He does.
It seems like,
Good decisions.
buy at the deadline to kind of bolster those playoff chances or sell to stockpile assets for the future. It's a classic short-term versus long-term
You do?
dilemma.
Yeah.
What do you think are some of the things that are on his mind as he weighs all these trade options?
Well, he's definitely looking at how they've been performing lately.
Yeah.
You know, can they keep up this momentum from that Florida game?
Right.
Can they get their offense going?
Or was that just a fluke?
Was it a one-time thing, or is this a real turnaround?
Right.
And then, of course, he's looking at these trade rumors, too. I mean,
Yeah.
what could he get for a guy like Frederick or Brazeau?
Right.
Could he get enough back to actually address some of their needs?
Some of their weaknesses.
There you go.
And then there's that kind of intangible factor, too. Right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like the message you sent.
The message it sends to the players.
Yeah, to the fans.
Does he believe in this team?
Yeah. Does he think they can make a run?
Can they make a deep playoff run?
Or is it time to start thinking about a rebuild?
A rebuild.
Even if it means, not going for it this year.
Sacrificing.
Immediate gratification.
Yay.
It's a lot.
It is.
It's a lot to think about.
So many moving pieces.
So many moving pieces.
High stakes.
High stakes for sure.
Yep.
All right, so we've established
Yeah.
the Bruins are at a crossroads.
Big time.
It's decision time for Sweetie.
Uh-huh.
Go all in or prioritize the future.
Yeah.
What do you think?
What's he gonna do?
What's the most likely scenario?
It's tough to say for sure.
Yeah.
But, the Bruins have this history of success, right?
They do.
They've got this strong core group of veteran players,
Mm-hmm.
and, their fan base expects them to be contenders.
For sure.
So if he sells at the deadline,
Yeah.
it's kind of like waving the white flag,
It's like saying we're giving up.
Right.
Yeah.
And that could really demoralize the players,
Oh, yeah.
disappoint the fans.
For sure, it would definitely send a message.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be smarter to build for the future?
That's the other side of
If
it.
you're not really convinced
Right.
they can win it all this year.
If they're not a true contender,
Yeah.
then why not? Right. Build for the future.
Why not?
Sometimes you got to take a step back to move forward.
I guess so.
Acquire those draft picks.
Get some young talent.
Develop the young guys.
Right.
Build a solid foundation.
More sustainable.
Yeah, for long-term success.
Okay, it's a balancing act, for sure.
It is.
Weighing the present against the future.
Always is.
But speaking of the present, can we go back to that Florida game for a sec?
Oh, yeah.
That last-minute goal by Pastrnak was insane.
Oh, man. It was a beauty.
I mean, talk about threading the needle
Top shelf.
with the game on the line.
I mean, you could just see the relief
Oh, yeah.
on everyone's faces, the
Yeah.
excitement.
It definitely felt like a momentum shifter.
Yeah,
Not just for that game,
right.
but for the whole season.
Maybe.
Do you think that win
It's possible.
could spark a late-season surge?
It could happen.
Fingers crossed.
Sometimes all it takes is one big win
To get a team going.
to get them fired up.
It can boost their confidence.
Yeah.
Remind them what they're capable of.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll see.
We'll see. But even with that win,
Yeah.
you still have some work to do.
They do.
If they want to solidify that playoff spot,
Uh-huh.
what are some of the key things that fans should be watching for?
In these coming weeks.
Yeah, these next few weeks.
So first and foremost,
Okay.
consistency.
Okay.
Can they build on that offensive momentum
From the Florida game?
from that Florida game?
Yeah.
Can they get a few wins in a row?
String together some wins.
Yeah. Or are they going to fall back into that slump?
Back into that rut,
Yeah.
And what about the power play?
Oh, yeah.
Can they keep that momentum going?
They got.
Because
8 games is a long time.
8 games without a power play goal.
That's not just bad luck.
It's not just bad luck.
There's something else going on.
There's something deeper there.
Yeah.
They need to be more creative.
More aggressive.
Way more effective.
Okay, so consistency on offense, especially on the power play.
Especially the power play. Yeah. What else?
Keep an eye on the trade rumors.
Okay.
Is Swayman making moves?
Is he adding players?
Yeah, is he buying or is he selling?
What's he doing?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those actions are going to tell you a lot.
Yeah, it's like a game of chess.
It is.
Trying to figure out what his next move is.
Exactly.
It's almost as exciting as the games.
Almost.
And then lastly,
Oh, dear.
you gotta look at the players.
The individual players?
Yeah. Are the veterans stepping up?
Are they leading by example?
Are the younger players contributing?
Are they stepping up?
Consistently.
Yeah.
Those are all things that are going to factor
Different
in
factors.
to how their playoff fate.
Exactly.
Turns out,
Yeah.
it sounds like these next few weeks are going to be pretty crucial
Oh, yeah. Make or break.
for the Bruins. But, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
this is more than just wins and losses.
This is about the fans.
About that connection.
And their connection to this team.
Exactly.
What do you think?
Boston's a hockey town.
It is a hockey city.
The Bruins are like part of their identity.
Yeah. The fans are passionate.
They're knowledgeable.
They know their hockey.
They expect a lot from this team.
Yeah, they expect them to compete for the cup.
Every year.
And that's what makes it so interesting. It's
Yeah.
not just about analyzing stats and trades.
Yes, more than that.
It's about understanding.
Yeah, the human side of it.
The human element.
That emotional connection.
That connection.
Between the city and the team.
Yeah.
You know.
It's about the hopes.
The dream.
And the legacy
the his
of the Boston Bruins.
Yeah. Whether they buy or sell.
It's going to be interesting.
That's going to be a fascinating ride.
So what does this all mean?
For the average fan?
For the average Bruins fan out there.
Yeah.
Who's trying to make sense of all this.
Trying to figure it all out.
What advice would you give them?
Stay engaged.
No.
Don't just watch the games.
Yeah.
Follow the news.
Read the articles.
Analyze those roster moves.
Okay.
And talk about it.
Participate in the conversation.
Yeah.
Embrace the uncertainty.
Exactly, because that's part of the fun.
Part of the fun of being a sports fan.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to happen next.
Nope. And sometimes the most rewarding moments
Yeah.
are the unexpected ones.
The twists and turns.
Shoot
I like that.
Yeah.
Embrace the uncertainty.
Embrace it.
So to recap, we've talked about the Bruins' recent win.
Against Florida.
The ongoing offensive struggles.
Yep.
The trade rumors.
Uh-huh.
And the tough decisions facing Don Sweeney.
Yeah. Big decisions.
But we've only scratched the surface.
Oh, yeah.
There's still so much to unpack.
So much more to analyze.
And we'll continue this deep dive.
After a quick break.
All right. So, as we've been talking, I keep coming back to this idea that this season feels like a real turning point for the Bruins.
Yeah. It really does feel like a pivotal moment for them.
Are we seeing the end of an era?
Or the beginning of a new one.
Yeah. Are we witnessing like the end of a chapter?
It's the $1 million colon.
Yeah.
It's like they're standing at a fork in the road and
Yeah.
Sweeney's holding the map.
And he's got to choose.
One path leads towards a retooling, maybe even a full-on rebuild.
Yeah.
The other path,
Keeps him on that competitive track.
they keep pushing for the playoffs with this core group of guys.
And honestly, both paths
Yeah.
have their pros and cons.
Yeah.
It would be tough to see this era of Bruins hockey come to an end.
Especially with guys like Bergeron and Marchand still leading the charge.
Yeah, they're such icons.
They are.
But you can't deny it.
Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah.
The window's closing for this group.
Yeah, that window of opportunity is
It's
definitely...
like getting smaller.
Yeah, and the salary cap, it's always a factor.
Oh,
You've got these younger teams on the rise.
yeah. And the competition in the East is just fierce.
It's tough out there.
So it really comes down to Sweeney's judgment call.
Does he think they can make one last push
One last hurrah
with this group?
with this core.
Or does he see the writing on the wall?
Is it time to start fresh?
And build for the future?
Yeah. I think he's a realist.
You think so?
I don't think he's going to chase a cup
Yeah.
at the expense of the franchise's future.
At the expense of the long term.
Exactly. I think he's going to make the best decision for the organization.
Yeah, even if it's not the popular decision.
Even if it ruffles some feathers.
Right. He's not afraid to make the tough calls.
He's not afraid to take the heat.
Speaking of tough calls,
Yeah.
let's talk about the fans for a second.
The best fans in hockey.
Yeah. How do you think you're feeling?
About all this uncertainty.
All this back and forth.
I think they're cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
They know this team is capable of great things,
Of course.
but they also see the challenges.
The roadblocks.
Yeah, they're hoping for a playoff run.
Who isn't?
Right.
But I think they're realistic too.
About the future. Yeah, about the team's long-term prospects.
And let's be honest,
Yeah.
Boston fans are some of the most passionate
The most knowledgeable.
in all of sports.
They get it.
They really understand the game
They appreciate hard work.
and they demand excellence.
I've seen it all with this team.
They really have.
The heartbreak of almost winning it all.
Oh, yeah.
The thrill of those
The
championships.
ups and downs.
The whole roller coaster.
And through it all.
They've stuck with the team.
They've been there.
No matter what.
And they'll continue to support the Bruins.
No matter what path they choose.
That's what makes this team and this city so special.
It's a special bond.
A shared love of hockey.
Respect for tradition.
That belief in teamwork.
Yeah, it's more than just a game.
But at the end of the day, the Bruins are still in it.
They're still fighting for a playoff spot,
They control their own destiny.
which makes these next few weeks so exciting.
Every game matters.
Every point counts.
And every decision could change everything.
So for all the Bruins fans out there,
Listening.
what are the big takeaways from our deep dive in our?
What should they be thinking about?
First, remember that Florida win,
That big win.
as exciting as it was,
Yeah.
doesn't mean their offensive struggles are over.
Yeah, they still got to prove they can score consistently.
So keep an eye on how they perform.
Can they string together some wins?
Can they get that power play clicking again?
And second,
Don't take your eyes off Sweeney.
what's he going to do at the trade deadline?
Is he buying or selling?
Those moves will tell you everything you need to know.
About where this team is headed.
And, most importantly,
This is a team in transition.
big decisions ahead.
They're at crossroads.
The choices they make in these next few weeks will have a huge impact.
A lasting impact.
It's a time of uncertainty.
But it's also a time of great potential.
Anything could happen.
So don't just watch the games.
Experience them.
Feel the energy.
Analyze the strategies.
Appreciate these players.
And embrace the unknown.
Because the future of the Boston Bruins is still being written.
That's what makes it so exciting.
It's going to be a wild ride.
Thanks for joining us.